Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. And welcome back to Geiselsberg map with seasons. Today is going to be what they call Damage Limitation Day. It's a Monday for me, and man, it has been a Monday. I don't know if you've ever had a totally, like, catastrophic farm sim day, but I'm having one right now. Everything is going wrong. And something that's funny about making these YouTube videos, I don't necessarily back up a copy of my save game and put it on desktop before I start recording. Sometimes I do, but not every time. And so when I have a totally tits up day and I have to do like multiple takes, the in farm sim the day is moving, right? Like time is progressing. And so it doesn't always make sense now because enough time has gone by that when I finally get one right, it's like, well, wait, what happened to what you were doing? Yeah. It's we're just gonna get through it. It's a Monday, man. It is really a Monday. So we've got the MB track on this little cedar. It's leased, and of course, farm sim workers, you got to put the headland in first, or they'll just drive off wherever. So this is what it took to get it working. I had to fertilize this field to get the worker to work at all. It was not right because I hit it with the subsoiler, and the worker wasn't even recognizing it. Wasn't even trying to work. And course plate for some reason won't see this field. Oh, Monday. Oh, Monday. So we're now here's something funny. We're planting triticale in this field. It's going to be a winter crop. You know what was in it when we plowed it under? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't even look when we bought the field. I would have bought it either way. Let's go to the map. I would have bought it either way, but it had triticale in it, and then I plowed it under, and then I looked at my crop rotation planner, and we're over here in rotation 4. I want to plant canola next year, canola or soybeans. I was planning on planting, let me get to it, click, click, click. I was planning on planting oilseed radish as a cover crop, and that would take our canola yield down to 81%. I believe I'm reading this right. However, triticale, had we just left it in there, 108%. The reason I plowed it under is I don't want to rent a combine harvester in the spring for what will probably be these 2-3 feet. God, see, there's that Monday. There's that Monday. These 2-3 fields, these 3 fields with triticale in them will probably give us a gross of, I don't know, 15,000, 12,000. We're going to spend 5 or 6,000 on equipment rental to get it out of the ground. So it's just it's a little bit up in the air right now. You know, I like to have fun playing this game, and I'm not complaining about seasons. I am not down on seasons in any way, but I can definitely understand why some people are not into seasons, and the reason is it sort of takes the fun out of the game. It makes you do what seasons needs you to do rather than what you want to do. I just wanted to put a cover crop in. I don't normally do that, and I just got it in my head. Let's plant a cover crop, and here's the mess we have. So we will get this triticale back in. Now, to be fair, we do, because we're going to plow all these fields or hit them with the subsoiler, we will get the 10% plow bonus. So that's something. And they were absolutely chock full of weeds. So we will be able to get out in front of those weeds before we harvest in the spring, and that will be a little bit more. And it is going to help our canola yield. So there's that. So it's okay. But man, I just wanted to plant a cover crop because we've been doing so many other things on the farm. We haven't put a cover crop in, and we haven't really seeded anything for a while. The last thing we seeded was grass, and that wasn't very exciting. So yeah, careful what you wish for. Right, let's hop in our class. We will get this field subsoiled as well. And we need to bring let's bring this back. We can get rid of that. Brake is off. We'll get this thing fired up. So yeah, it's been a Monday. It's got less to do with Farm Sim than it does with Monday. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. So we will, that's about right. We'll slow it down a little bit. We'll try to be realistic. We'll slow it down a little bit. I'm going to, as always, cut in a headland for our dumb worker. I'm curious why Courseplay was not seeing that field. I don't know if it was because of the implement we had on, which is a base game implement, or if there was something else going on there. I've got the new Courseplay from GitHub, which is not the Courseplay from the Mod Hub. The Courseplay from the Mod Hub, as far as I know, wait a minute, is Courseplay even on the Mod Hub? I think it is. But I've got the new one from GitHub. And the new one from GitHub, you know, you can be in the cool kids club and have the latest and greatest, newest and best, but it's not always, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's got some things that need to be worked out. So it could be that my Courseplay is just a little bit too fresh and has a bug or two here or there. But regardless, it would not see that field. So now what did get it working was I threw fertilizer on it. And that sort of defeats the whole purpose of planting a cover crop, right? If you're going to do all that mess, why not just plant a crop? So yeah, it's been Monday. Oh, Monday. But you know what? We'll get through it. And we're still playing a video game and having some fun on the farm. Not a whole lot to complain about in my world. I can make things up to complain about. Sometimes I do. But you know what I mean? I really have to. I gotta look pretty hard to find things to complain about. I got a pretty pleasant life, all things considered. So we will get this going, and then we'll go down and take a peek at the animals. I'll show you what I did down there. I fed them, and that was sort of why today is still the 7th day of autumn. It's the same day it was at the end of the last episode. I did not skip ahead any days, and the reason I did not is I had not fed the animals yet, and had we skipped a day, I don't know if any would have died. I know eventually with seasons, if you don't feed your animals, they do die, but I don't know if it happens in a single day. But regardless, we hadn't fed them yet, so I wanted to feed them. And so I had TMR sent down from the store. I had straw sent down from the store. Now that is a question. We'll get into that in this episode as far as what we want to do with the waste from our cows right now. It was pointed out to me. I had read this somewhere in Seasons documentation, early days, but then I totally spaced it, totally forgot it. But someone had mentioned to me, because I had mentioned that I have no slurry on Greenwich. I only have hard manure. And they reminded me, with Seasons, if you throw straw, you get hard manure. If you do not throw straw, you get slurry. Easy enough. Up north, with our silage operation, we have tons of digestate, probably 400,000 liters up there. All that we could ever use. I think we have more digestate than we could use in a season to triple fertilize all our fields. And if we run grass again next year, and we most likely will, grass for silage, sell the silage at our BGA, we're going to get even more digestate. And there's no place to sell it on this map. So we have more than we can use. And you would think, okay, so we've got plenty, that means we don't need any more. Okay, if we don't need any more, then we'll make hard manure from our cows. But really, we don't need any fertilizer. So if we have to have some type of waste output from our beef operation down here. Did I say dairy earlier? I hope not. It's Monday. Anything goofy that happens in this episode, just blame it on Monday. The cows are going to make waste at some level. It's either going to be hard manure or slurry. We'll have the equipment to deal with the slurry because we'll be dealing with all that digestate from the BGA. But we also have plenty of digestate, so why not make hard manure? We got to make something, but we don't need anything. So I'm going to throw straw and make hard manure, and we can just have a little bit of variety in our, you know what I'm saying, in our poop. Because if not, we'll just have liquid manure for days. We already do. As far as I know, we have more than we can use. And now we've got the variable spray mod running. So what we can do is actually jack the spray rate on our slurry spreader, our digestate spreader. and use more than we should just to get rid of it. But there's no other place to put it, and we can't sell it. I think at some point also that BGA does have a cap when it maxes out its capacity for digestate, and I don't know if it stops accepting silage at that point or if it just doesn't make any more digestate. You know what I mean? You can continue to sell silage, you can continue to get money for it every midnight, but you will not get any more digestate. Maybe could be wrong about that, but oh man, yeah, it's just been a Monday. Seasons, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, we want that realism, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes I don't. You know, sometimes I just want to do what I want to do. But I do enjoy the framework and the structure and the challenge of, no, you can't do that. You got to do this. So it goes. At the end of the day, it's really nothing to get upset about. It's just a video game. And the other nice thing about Farm Sim, with a couple exceptions, it's really not a rage quit kind of game. I think the only time I've ever been tempted to rage quit was on Selby Farm Estates by Lancey Boy with the Mud mod. And Lancey Boy, now he says, I'm not doubting him, I'm just clarifying that he says, I have no independent verification of this. He says he invented the concept of putting mud in fields. And there's a field, sort of, looking at the map, it's not too far from the main farm. It's a massive hill, and it's got mud in the center of it. And with the mud mod, the Slippy mod, and this was in 17, so I was running Gearbox, more realistic, and something else. I don't know, some other mod. With the mud mod, with everything else, and I simply could not get up that hill. And what I was doing was repeatedly like deadheading up to the top of the hill with my implement lifted, and then just making lengths down the hill, letting gravity help me. And sometimes even that wouldn't work. And it just, there's a rage quit for you. But for the most part, this game is, I don't know, it's more intellectually frustrating, at least with Seasons, or at least the way I play it. It's more intellectually frustrating than it is emotionally frustrating, like you get a good old-fashioned rage quit. So, for the most part, we're doing all right. I'm going to, let's do this. Let's square off the top of this field. Let's drive on our field that we just subsoiled. I do that. It's a bad habit, but I'm working on it. So let's get off of our newly prepped field. And let's get down here. Is our MB track still operating? Yep, still moving. Let's get down here, drive through a bollard. That's not a bollard. That's one of those little flappy rubber, hard plastic warning things they put up. Do they do that in Germany? In the US, this type of sign, the ones that we're clipping on both sides with our subsoiler, those would be hard plastic, and it's cool. They actually put a little cavity in the center in the US so that it makes this incredibly loud smacking sound if you hit it with your car. And they put them by the side of the road, and what happens is if you doze off, or if you're taking your turns too wide and you hit one, it just makes this sound like a gunshot, like the end of the world. And it definitely gets your attention. However, they are designed to be flexible and to not damage your car. And we want this right here. We want to go here. We are 4 meters, are we not? We are. So we're going to go 4 meters. We're going to reset. And I just want to square off the top of this field so that our hired worker has a kind of a better place to start from. And that's a good way to do this. I guess we'll just drive around so we're not compacting too badly. However, it's just going to be a cover crop. What's the deal with cover crops? Is it just something you throw in there? Is it something you actually pay attention to when you're planting it? Do you give it a lot of, you know what I mean? Is it just kind of not a throwaway crop, but is it just something you kind of one and done, or do you give it the same care and attention as you do a cash crop? I don't know. Curious about that. Right, so we'll lift this up, and now by the time we're done squaring this off, we're going to be half done with the field. We may as well just finish it. Nah. Nope, we'll give it to a worker. We'll go down and check out the cows, and then we'll call it. You know, it is relaxing to kind of get back in the groove here. I was really, just before I started recording, I was really frantically trying to figure out what the hell to do to get things back on course, so to speak. And here we go. Seems to have worked. Sir? There we go. Nice little pause, lowering the implement. I like those details, if it is, in fact, intentional. Who knows? Who knows with these modders? All right, is that... I think that could be far enough. So, lift this. Once more, back to the front of the field. Here we go. Back here. So we will confirm that we've got a smart worker on here. I'm sorry, a dumb worker is what we want. We want a dumb worker. Like so and like so. Let's see how they do. Blocked by an object. Blocked by me is more like it. All right, see if they make their turn. And if they miss a bit, if they turn too soon, we can just fix that manually. How are we doing on time? 18 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. All right. Here, you know what? Let's turn this off. There we go. So he did make it to the end of the row. Now, oh, thinking, undecided. Yeah, he's going to go for it. That's our Denzel. Eventually, right? My man, you got this. Beautiful. Okay, so he'll finish. Sort of. He will finish squaring off that field, but I'll need to trim off like that little bit right there. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Let's run down and take a look at the cows, and then we'll call it. Oh, man. It's this farm life. It's this farm life, I'm telling you. I did move the front loader. I had dropped the front loader here at this farm, which we do not own, but I did relocate it down to the other farm. I also found out that although there is a bale consume trigger for grass bales, hay bales at the sheep farm, there is no bale consume trigger for straw bales at this farm. Ignore this incredibly neat pile of straw bales. Pay no attention. So we did have to get a bale shredder. You can see it right there. And we've got straw in here, so we will have hard manure. We've got the food going. I had pallets of TMR delivered, and then I just loaded it up into a tipper, and we're going to dump it with that. I didn't feel like getting into a mixer and everything else. I can't lease a mixer. I just can't bring myself to lease a mixer over and over. So we'd have to buy one. They are pretty expensive, and I just didn't want to get into all that. So yeah, that's about it. I know it's been kind of an odd episode. Like I said, it's been it's been a struggle this morning, but wanted to get through it. And I also bought, we have 14 cows now. We delivered 6. I bought 8 more. It's about all we can afford. We do have passive income coming in daily, but I want to be careful because we're getting into winter and we won't really have any income until we sell our triticale in the spring. So yeah, that's it. That's the episode. I will get the rest of this triticale planted. I guess we'll fertilize it. I mean, I know that sounds kind of weird to say, but I guess we'll fertilize it this fall. I don't know. And then we'll harvest it in the spring. It's got, it's not a bad price. Go here, and it's all the way over. Yeah, it's not a bad price. And then if we check our seasons menu, let's see if it goes up and down. Where is it? Right down. All the way at the bottom? No. I apologize for the flickering. Tritico, right there. No, doesn't really go up and down too much. So it should be right around 500 euro per 1,000 liters. And I don't know what we'll get out of these 3 fields. These 3 fields. I don't know what we'll get out of them, but I'm guessing a gross of, like I said, 10 or 12 or maybe 15,000 euro, and we'll have to spend a bit to rent a combine harvester. And we're spending some money on fertilizer right now and various other things to get the crop in the ground. I did use our sprayer with chemical fert because we would have had to rent a slurry sprayer if we wanted to spray digestate on these fields, and we're not quite ready for that yet. I will either rent or buy one in the spring for the final layer of fert on our grass fields, but for now I thought we already have the sprayer and it already has fertilizer in it, let's just go ahead and use it. So yeah, I think that's as good a place as any to call it. Next episode, maybe we'll plow some snow. If it snows this winter, maybe we'll rent a snow plow and do a little snow plowing. There you have it, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 19. This is Geiselsberg with Seasons. We'll see you next time. Take care now.